Both of these teams have stood their ground thus far and brought us now to a 5th game. For so long here in the LTA this year, we were not seeing game 4s, game 5s, and now the 2 times these teams have met in a best of 5, it has gone the distance both times. 1 game left to decide who is our split 2 winner, who's going to MSI.
You've heard of a game 5. How about a game 10? Because that's where we're at with these 2 teams here. Back-to-back weekends going the distance. You know, Cloud9, I think, definitely going to be frustrated with how that game ended. You know, they had regained control after a couple good fights from them. You know, Bwipo overextending, them really punishing. But this last fight, the clutch factor there, you know, inspired Massu getting that initial kill and then Quad with this monster seismic shove to seal the deal.
And his ultimate to start it out too and kind of section them over into the correct position to get that play. Just really, really big stuff. Talia, of course, mega high priority champion.
Yeah.
Now a lot of these tier 1 prio champs are completely off the board. So super, super excited here for game number 5 because this is where the spiciest of picks come out.
We heard Seo's talking about it though. Leona still up and available. That is kind of the last, you know, really high tier engaged champ that is up and available for support. That was banned out last time around. And when we get into this game 5, the question is, do you target ban one player? Do you target ban pocket picks? Do you still just continue to ban some of the meta champs that are left? You know, the strategies in game 5 for Fearless, I think, are so important. And it's an opportunity for coaches to really showcase their skill and their knowledge to not only get good individual picks, but to get a cohesive comp to get your team that LTA title.
Well, we're already seeing a little bit of focus into those pocket picks that you were talking about. The Cassiopeia that Quad is known for, that's gone. The Yorick that we see Bwipo very often eager to lock in, gone as C9's first 2 bans. The response from FlyQuest, the Vi, which is always a stock standard ban, and then the Sivir also banned out. That was banned out in a previous game. The Set, this is another Bwipo special. It is one that many top laners do not have much practice against when it's out of the meta, so they don't want to deal with that.
Exactly. So, you know, Cloud9's read is, you know what, we're going to ban 3 pocket picks. We're going to ban 3, you know, champion player duo picks. And on the other side, it is FlyQuest just kind of banning the meta right now.
And the advantage for C9 is because they're on blue side, they can snatch up that Leona if FlyQuest doesn't want to pay the tax of getting rid of that last big
Game
engaged
5, yes,
champion.
sir.
But instead, no, they're going to go with Kalista first pick here for C9. Gwen was the last first round ban on FlyQuest.
And I mean, Kalista Renata is still available in a game 5 here, right? So there is a lot of power in that duo. You're kind of able to say, okay, great, you're going to go for Leona? Sure, you take Leona, we'll take Renata, we'll disengage that engage, we'll win the 2v2, we'll play for that. So now it's time to find out what the answer will be from FlyQuest. Did they just throw down the Leona anyway? Or are they going to go for range?
Caitlyn
Lux will be
binding.
spicy, man.
Caitlyn, let's see, what's the pairing going to be?
Karma, also one that you sometimes could see.
Karma was used in Fearless, and Nico was used in Fearless.
That's right. I forgot about the Karma.
Yeah, Caitlyn Lux definitely an option on the table because, I mean, like you say, one of the answers to Kalista is traditionally just long range. You play for poke, you play to chip her down, you don't allow her to take these all-ins. They can, of course, wait to see what the support pick is for C9, but it's going to be Caitlyn Viktor, 2 pretty long-range, good area control champions here to answer this early Kalista.
And 2 characters from Arcane, the hit show.
Oh,
by
Kalista
Riot
was
Games.
not on TV, ever.
That's tough. That's tough for Kalista.
Team Arcane looking pretty good here, but Jarvan actually is a champion that can put a lot of pressure onto Viktor, so maybe we'll see Blaber going for some very aggressive early plays. This is a theme for Cloud9. They've got super aggressive bottom lane with an aggressive jungler here. They want to push the tempo. They want to keep the action going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have Jarvan into this Viktor here, who obviously can't get out of the Cataclysm without Flash. You know, that is going to be difficult to deal with. And you throw down that Cataclysm, you have the hostile takeover coming over the top. It could also be Elise support potentially. So Elise support as an answer. If you hit the cocoon, you can follow it up with the trap. You know, that, of course, is a lot of upfront damage. Yes, there is the Renata to deal with that 100-0 kind of angle that you're looking for that burst. But Elise definitely has a lot of power, and Busio's super comfortable on it. I've seen him play it a ton in solo queue.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He loves roaming champions from support. So not only does Elise fit the Caitlyn lane as far as these trap combinations that you always want to have, this poke damage, but also he loves roaming, especially to top lane, and that could be another way that FlyQuest want to keep Thanatos under control and attack that one. I would say it's very dangerous, though, because Elise, if you get caught by the Jarvan, like, Elise will also get popped and die.
Watch that bug.
I mean, it's It's a pick that is so
Don't
heaven
pan down. Don't
or
you do
hell.
it. Pan back up.
This is
Pan back
such
up.
a difficult pick because you are saying, I have confidence in myself over anything else. If Elise falls behind, if Elise doesn't get to play her game, worthless champion, does not do anything. You are saying that you are ready to answer the Kalista Renata challenge. I love the confidence, and I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Absolutely, and I think Busio has earned that confidence from his teammates. He's played an incredible split. We do have to say there's a tiny, tiny chance that it does go jungle, and then they try to really flex things around, because we've seen them cook up some crazy stuff where they did, the last time they played against C9, remember they did this, oh, we're going blind Rumble top. Turns out it was a Rumble support. They were putting Blaber top, so I wouldn't put it past them to try to flex things around and really surprise them.
Exactly, because they are red side, so they want to have the surprise at the end.
Don't get baited. Don't get baited by the hover crowd. Hold it in. Hold it in.
No way. Ain't no way we get a Shaco in our finals.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Massu is a known troll, so I do not react to his hovers.
Yeah,
But
Well, we did react.
we got the
let's
Kha'Zix.
go!
This will be, you can see right there, one pick so far this split. It is a 0-1 champion, but inspired. We're going double bug for FlyQuest in Game 5.
And it's really interesting because both the Elise and the Kha'Zix, single target damage, all kinds of bursts, but you're into a Renata. You have got to be so picture perfect with your engages, 100-0 people, and then get out before they can get that bailout.
The way that these two are the most dangerous, though, is not even in team fights. It is duos linking up and going for invades. That is a 100% 2-0 combination. It's a dream world for Kha'Zix to have an Elise to play with. It almost never happens because both are typically jungle champs, but we're going to get it. Should be very aggressive.
But the thing I'm looking at right now, there is legitimately zero front line on the FlyQuest side. You're talking about them invading, setting up these traps, playing these like small skirmishy ambush type of situations. And right now, that's about all they can play because they don't have any way to engage a real fight or front line a full 5v5. Back on the other side, it'll be Hwei in the mid lane for Loki, control mage answer to Viktor, and then the pick for Thanatos, the Cassante in Game 5.
Yep, and Cassante coming through. Gragas is up and available. That would be some of that engage. This is a Bwipo classic. He is very comfortable on this pick. I just checked 4-1 all time. They are 4 inspired on the Kha'Zix, so he does have some experience playing it. This is going to be an explosive game here. These two compositions have got to fight. Range is relatively limited, on both sides, especially for this Kalista, kind of has to get in the action. The Elise and the Kha'Zix have got to get involved early and often. You don't want to just sit back and try to scale as Elise. You need to get way ahead of the pace of the game, because if you just show up to a 5v5 on even gold against this Renata, Renata's going to get so much more done.
What's really interesting, too, is that because everyone always focuses on the identity of Kha'Zix as an assassin, but it also can support siege comps in some times with your W evolve. It is super high priority for pro play. And when you've got a Caitlyn plus an Azir, even Elise and Gragas, lots of long range stuff. So possibilities of these sieges here, definitely an extra wrinkle for the macro.
I really like, the point out there, because not only do they have Caitlyn traps, they have the Viktor W. You can drop a Gragas Q. You can be spamming Ws here, from the Kha'Zix. Like, they have so much zone control. If FlyQuest get first to an objective, it is going to be really hard for them to deal with. Non-subscribers will see you in 30 seconds. So I do think the setup here from Cloud9 becomes so important.
Yeah, C9 have got to figure out how to deal with these crazy picks that have so much of that pick potential that you were talking about, Kobe. Meanwhile, for FlyQuest, I think there's also going to be a lot of pressure on Bwipo in particular as the only one who can really be a front line for this team. Last game, we saw a lot of blunders from Bwipo. We saw a lot of frustration on his face when we looked at the player cams, but we also know that this is a man who has played in the World Finals before. This is a guy who has been playing professional league for a very long time. He's someone who specifically talks a lot about the mentality of being a pro player, and I want to see how well he bounces back in this 5th and final game.
And I want to see where's Busio going, because he started with a sweeper. That's what I like to see from Elise support. He is going to be getting into the brush early. You can see it already in bottom lane, always looking for brush advantage for your burst combos, and maybe he'll be able to use that sweeper to get out of lane later.
Okay, nothing happening just yet, so let's take a listen to Cloud9 discussing the stakes of this series.
Did you guys know that Game 5 is the most important game of the series?
That's crazy.
I actually didn't know that.
You know, crazy statistic, the team that wins Game 5 always wins the series.
What?
Yeah.
No way. That's a crazy stat.
That is a crazy stat. He's not wrong.
My favorite part is Blaber's laugh, though. So
the vibes
good.
are good on the C9 side. They just lost that game. They don't care.
And those three that were just talking there, the bottom lane and the jungle, they went for the invade. They're splitting the map. Splitting the map when you have a volatile matchup like this is so critical. Okay, he's not going to do a full split. He just takes the blue in and out.
I want to watch bot side, though, because Massu and Busio knew they weren't there. They hard shoved this wave as fast as humanly possible, knowing that they could be coming behind them with this split map situation. So they bounce the wave super fast so then they can back up and receive that bounce if there was a concern about Blaber coming. And I just think that's really smart stuff.
I like both of the kind of ideas. You know, the response there from FlyQuest, also the original idea from Cloud9, because Jarvan has so much better early gank potential than a Kha'Zix.
You might have to flash.
Oh,
That is big.
yep.
So if you can take away some camps from Kha'Zix early and get Kha'Zix a little bit slower in scaling up and getting to the threatening point, then you can create a lot better plays there as the Jarvan who has CC to pull off a lot of these ganks.
And this is Cloud9's record in finals. As the first seed, they are 5-2. As any other seed, so second and below, they are 1-5. Of course, they are not coming in as the first seed this time around. So looking to get, their second ever finals win here as a number 2 seed or below.
But that also works directly against our other stat we talked about earlier, where C9 is the only team that wins from the upper bracket. So this could be...
all the stats this game.
Yeah, we got a lot of numbers that we're cranking out here as Thanatos has control over this top side wave. You can see a little bit more stats we got on the screen for you. In game 4 and 5 of a series, Zven has a 60% win rate, just about there, 59.3. Wait, isn't that? That's exactly 60. It's what? 3 out of 5. That's
Don't
60.
do math on broadcast.
What?
Whether you're right or wrong.
Okay, all right.
Out
let
of
it go.
sight,
gone.
out
You know
of
what?
mind.
I've had enough numbers anyway. We don't need any more numbers unless they are KDA. I want to see these bugs start making a couple of plays. Kobe, you were talking about these two working together, the Elise facilitating the Kha'Zix. When are we going to start to see that?
I mean, it's going to have to be, basically, you have
You
to...
promised us blood, Kobe.
Well, you can do it really early, but usually you want to, you call it unlocking the other person that is going to go gank with you. So either you unlock the mid laner, you're going to unlock the support. In order to get that, you kind of buy your time for Busio to get those recall timers.
Battle pass kind of deal.
Exactly. Yeah. So they got to buy Busio the battle pass. First thing, they got to shove up their lane, get their pressure here, and then give him an opening to go roam with.
Okay, Hwei immediately getting a little bit of damage with the Baby Rumble ulti that he has on his Q as Quad arrives back into the mid lane. That is both of our mid laners now having used their first TPs to get back to lane. Neither top laner has recalled yet thus far, as we're going to see there's a bit of a cocoon. Lots of burst damage down to Vulcan. The headshot is out. Vulcan is down. FlyQuest, first blood.
You can see the idea. Oh, yeah, they're probably recalling right now. Let's stop the recall. But if you face check the brush, the burst damage there from the FlyQuest duo is insane. Easy to land that cocoon, easy to land the full combo there with the trap, with the E as well from Caitlyn, from Massu, and they finish it. They get their first blast. Battle pass acquired.
There you go. And you could tell that Busio was desperately trying to give that kill over to Massu. He walked away, but the last tick of the Ignite was the last instance of damage during that bailout. So you have to get the last hit, and because the Ignite was still active, pretty hard to time in between Ignite ticks there. It's kind of just a 50-50. Busio walks away with it. But if there is a support to give that kill to, it's Elise, because this champion is so strong from ahead. Like, you get early Sork boots, you get early Proto Belt, you go around the map, and sometimes you are just 100-0 carries.
Exactly, and you can see he did just that. He bought his boots very early with that money, and then he always kind of resets from Fountain through the mid lane, and they're coming bottom. The double gank is here.
Yeah, Bwipo taking a lot of damage there, turned into a pin cushion, but Busio immediately ready to follow it up with the cocoon, and Inspired is right behind him. Vulcan is down. FlyQuest now with 2 kills on Busio's Elise support.
He's unlocked one of the first rewards with that battle pass already.
First tier.
Another kill, and this is why I love it so much. From the jungle perspective, you basically get to have another ganker with you. Busio goes for the flash, hits the cocoon, and they get their lead. Let's see, though, with the response from Jarvan, because it did start out with stealing away blue buff, and so Blaber does have this little bit of a jungle camp lead over Inspired. But on Vision now, and probably shouldn't get any surprise plays, so it'll be a start on the Dragon. It's actually very dangerous when you have the slow from the Ocean Dragon. Makes it easy for cocoons to hit.
Yeah, they're walking in. I mean, Quad does have mid lane prio, but he's kind of out of mana, and he has no TP, so if he comes, he's going to have like one round of spells, and Bwipo's getting chunked out, so it's a bit of a difficult approach for FlyQuest.
Bwipo's chunked out. Thanatos also has his TP ready if FlyQuest wants to try to commit to the fight. Bwipo LT's not going to get a lot done here, as Vulcan is ready to counterattack. C9 still staying on top of the Drake for now. Quad hit with a spiraling despair, but it's not going to be a ton here just yet. Drake still low, down to about 600. Secured by Blaber. C9 going to get the objective for themselves. Vulcan goes for a handshake, but Busio goes for the repel. Now in a little bit of danger. Blaber flashing right back out. Zven wants the kill, and he's got it. Busio is squashed as C9 equals up the gold difference and takes the objective.
Yeah, that's a big kill there. Busio, of course, missing his flash from the flash cocoon earlier. He was able to force the cleanse early on Zven in that fight with the cocoon, but then couldn't find the angle to get a re-engage there. And Zven is able to get in and just barely finish him off. FlyQuest Soul laners just kind of didn't have the resources to really fully commit to the play. You know, Quad was stuck kind of out of mana. He didn't have any mana purchased up. You know, he's just on a double Ruby Crystal at this point. So great, he has the push, but he can't really do a lot with it.
Yeah, and then we're going to see how it all started out. So the wraparound over to the Tri-Brush. Zven, I will say here, with his both of his sums, very effective with each of them. He knows he can play on the front because he has the cleanse. So he's up by that Tri-Bush. Like you're talking about, he cleanses it off, the Bwipo ultimate goes down, and then they know they can actually section them out. Loki fires off the Hwei ultimate to keep Quad up on the outskirts.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, Quad just kind of throws that E, throws the LT to try to help in some way, but he can never walk through Loki. And Inspired can't really walk into the rest of the team as well. Blaber, great flashback after the flagging drag to avoid that body slam for Bwipo, and that just buys the space for Zen to go in and get the kill.
Yeah, Zven, nice Q flash auto here on the Kalista. The longtime Zven fans will remember OG Zven, Kalista main. Maybe I should say ancient fans nowadays, as it has been quite a while, but he was an absolute beast.
Yep, he definitely is. And these two dynamic duos, a lot of games spent together from Zven and Vulcan, because if you are a newer fan, they were back on Cloud9 years ago and really successful together. 213 games played, 122 now for the other side, Massu and Busio. And you can see both of them having reached a number of finals already. Massu and Busio coming into the scene and having success already as FlyQuest is looking for a fight.
Okay, FlyQuest, Busio in danger though as he gets hand shook forward. Blaber tries to finish off the kill. Cataclysm's right back onto Quad. FlyQuest staying safe enough for now, still with control over the Grub pit, as C9 with their jungler so close to death's door have to back away. It's 1 Grub to 1 so far, and it looks like FlyQuest is going to come out on top, Inspired with a little bit more damage to secure the third. He'll get it as C9 try to reapproach, but the objective is already gone.
A bit of a concern for Bwipo is he has really been roaming heavily to try to answer the team. He moved from bot to try to come up and help. He got pushed off of multiple waves. He's down 20 CS, and Thanatos has taken some plates and has, a good half level of experience advantage as well. So, Bwipo needs to make sure, yes, it's important to help your team, but at the same time, you have got to stay relevant in that 1v1. And K'Sante can be a problem if he gets too far ahead.
Yeah, Bwipo here trying to neutralize, going to neutralize mode here. He's got phase rush Gragas, so focusing now on the minion waves. Let's see as far as this next move from Blaber. He's got his red quadrant to go to. Okay. Afterwards, though, like my sights are completely on this Viktor with no flash. When Quad has no flash, Quad should be a target early on. Inspired, though, he's going to try and help out in that by going to seek out Blaber. This is one thing as a jungler. Wait, he still gets the smite. Nice job there from Blaber. Blaber actually secures his own, even with the invade. But one thing as a jungler, when you have a laner that has no flash like that, oftentimes the best way to keep them from getting ganked is not even like match 2v2. Go seek out the enemy jungler in their jungle to get vision on them and to keep your pressure on.
Kind of a random fun fact that the production just hit me with. Last time that we actually had Kha'Zix and Elise in the same game, together as a duo, 2014 in NA. And that is a long time ago, and it's only the 12th all-time in the region as well. So obviously was played together as a duo a long time ago, but these champions have not been seen in over 10 years in North America.
That's a long time.
So you said, was it together on the same team or
on the same team, I believe?
Okay.
As a duo.
Because 2014 was back when Kha'Zix could be played mid. It was back when you could have mid.
Yeah, like Alex each.
Yeah, Alex each mid Kha'Zix Muramana.
And high.
Yeah.
Maybe it was high. Somebody call high right now. Cloud9, I know you have his number. All right, let's back to the actual game at hand, though.
All right, let's see what we've got here, as it is the 2-1 Grub advantage for the side of FlyQuest, but C9 secured the first Drake for themselves. FlyQuest 1 kill away from securing the feats of warfare, but we're at the point in the game now, gentlemen, where an explosive skirmish could be too fast, even instant kills for either side, so everything's pretty much still on the board.
And this Elise advantage has not really extended whatsoever. Blaber in some trouble.
Now, Blaber goes over the wall, but immediately finds himself eating one of those cupcake traps. Takes a headshot from Massu. A little bit of damage from Inspired there as well. But the Drake has already begun by the side of C9, as they're also going to secure that Scuttle Crab first. They've got everybody down here. Thanatos also rotating his way over, hits level 10 right as that minion wave dies as he passes by. And FlyQuest, although they have plenty of players around the area, they're not going to contest for this objective. They know that C9's there first, and C9 take the Drake.
This time, though, it is actually Thanatos that is going over, and Bwipo stays by his lonesome at the tower. So Bwipo here does catch up individually, and he is now ahead in gold. Look at that turret plate money.
Yeah, he's farming plates. He's going to profit top lane while Thanatos makes that roam, but it is 2 dragons now to Cloud9's name. And we haven't seen this Elise Kha'Zix duo really amount to much, even with these early kills from Busio. Has not been able to kind of find any action after that. And if I'm playing, Vulcan side of this matchup, every minute that passes without Elise doing something is a minute that I am very, very happy about. Elise in a 5v5 is just so hard to pilot. It's really tough when Cassante is there and Jarvan is there to find cocoons on priority targets. And if you just repel into the backline, you're going to get exploded.
Exactly. That's why right now he's roaming around into the jungle. He's trying to find those skirmishes, trying to create those aggressive plays. And I do think it would be really funny, because Meteos is now a co-streamer, if the duo was actually Meteos and High, as the last Elise and Kha'Zix was.
We'll ask Meteos. We're doing the dive after this. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, hit him up. I'm really curious.
He's driving in. Okay, so will he actually be able to find one of these burst plays? Because Kha'Zix with the Ghost Blade is at the first really nice breakpoint. You have lots of lethality here, and you have lots of move speed to go pick off isolated targets.
Bwipo also went Rocket Belt, which is pretty atypical for Gragas. Going more for that playmaking. Normally you see Cosmic, a lot more common. So instead, he's just actually sitting on this Lost Chapter in towards that Rocket Belt. Really going to be looking for that X factor here.
All right, let's see. 14 minutes about to strike the clock. That means that the plates will fall. FlyQuest with a very modest gold lead of only 600 here, as our next Drake is still 3 minutes away. C9 with the 2-0 lead on those. We're going to get any big fights anytime soon. 45 seconds till the Herald. I would expect some kind of a battle for those, as Bwipo, now with turret plates no longer a factor, will be able to easily secure first turret for the side of FlyQuest. Now, Blaber is waiting around in this pixel brush, but if he face checks Bwipo, he doesn't know that FlyQuest has extra firepower nearby. They saw Inspired out of the fog there for a second, but Zven walks a little bit too close. The bugs are here, and there's no way out for the Kalista. Now FlyQuest is still ready to keep fighting as Blaber goes in for the Cataclysm. Inspired trying to get away. A beautiful hostile takeover over the top. And that sets it up perfect. FlyQuest are going to lose 3. A triple kill for Loki. And Vulcan just hit the perfect Renata ult.
The bugs attack first, but Vulcan squishes both of them with one button. And that's going to be the Rift Herald here for Cloud9.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get this. And Loki getting all 3 kills is really tough. This way is going to be a problem here. FlyQuest, it started out so good, but hostile takeover, so tough to deal with. We've talked about it a lot throughout this cast. There it is. Perfect example.
And as you say, it's very important that a lot of this kill money does go directly onto the Hwei, the one that actually has long range on their team and actually has the ability to deal with that siege. But here we go. That was the bugs attack. Nice job there. They use their invisibility and they jump through. But here it is. Blaber actually forces both of them out to try and escape on that side, and then they get the big combo.
And the R flash there from Vulcan. He gets the handshake, pulls them back in, snaps them together. Beautiful.
We're already back to live. Hold on. Busio immediately trying to repel defensively, but he's going to get squashed. Blaber smites him down like a jungle minion as Massu and Inspired have to continue their retreat. C9 defending well against the attempted invade from FlyQuest.
Okay. The action maybe calm down a little bit here because it is getting to that pace again where Cloud9, you know they kind of thrive in this, and they're stacking dragons once again, so they do have another out here later on. It's only 1 minute until that next dragon, and if they're the ones that have prio there first, then they don't have to worry about what we were talking about earlier with all the Caitlyn traps being set up and Elise having brush control and Kha'Zix lurking around without vision. So the setup preemptively towards this objective is going to mean a big difference in the ability to actually take the fight.
It absolutely will. I mean, we talked about all the power that FlyQuest have if they're first to set up, but C9 have a lot of power as well. The zone control with Hwei, trying to walk in through that. And if you're trying to walk through Thanatos as these squishy assassins here, the Elise and the Kha'Zix, it is going to be nearly impossible to do that. And the job is going to get harder for FlyQuest as time continues. Of course, they do still have always the playmaking, the potential to find that perfect Gragas ult. Here they go.
There it is. Bwipo with the flash body slam into the cast backwards. A little bit more damage gets it done. Bwipo takes the kill. The pick onto Loki, the shutdown on the 3-0 Hwei there. Big for FlyQuest, but C9 is going to use the Herald mid at the same time. Normally, the Cupcakes are a great defensive layer, but the Herald still gets past them. It won't do enough damage to secure the tier 1 turret. C9 setting up a potential death brush here in the line brush towards the bottom side river as Inspired goes back towards Busio, towards Bwipo, who's still putting in the damage on the tier 1 in the bottom lane. Bwipo will claim that structure, and now C9 is starting up the Drake, but they've only got 4 men alive. Loki does not have teleport when he respawns to try to participate here. Thanatos going to get stunned up here at the very start. Inspired's got to be a little bit careful, still looking to maybe try to steal away the Drake. Thanatos down to about 1/4 HP. Dragon still in control from the side of C9. They will secure it, but what about the rest of the fight? Inspired gets away, but Quad's got the kill on the Vulcan. Blaber goes over the wall and takes Inspired out. Blaber now still on the run, but the ace in the hole guarantees he's not going far. Bwipo with a beautiful explosive cast to stop the escape for Thanatos and Zven. Cassante and Kalista might be tough, but it's hard to get away from one of these. A perfect all out through the wall from Thanatos to make sure that he takes Quad with him. It's a bloodbath in the bottom side of the map as C9 reach Soul Point.
Man, Bwipo herded them so beautifully in this play. He's rejoining, but remember, Bwipo had no TP, so couldn't actually base. He stayed bot, he killed the tower, he joins up. They got so much chunk down on Thanatos, but Inspired is by himself and can't really find a way in here. Quad and Busio and Massu are stepping forward, but when that turn comes from C9, they put this pressure onto Inspired. He has to get out of there. Quad flashes in, and then C9 are able to get this kill onto Inspired, but watch Bwipo in this next play. He baits out the Pathmaker with his Rocket Belt from Thanatos, saves the Body Slam, and then is able to herd them in. Look at this. Goes forward, uses the Proto Belt, goes back, then the Body Slam comes in. That was just so clean from him. A nice bait from Bwipo.
And from the other top laner, then Thanatos still finds a play. He's able to hit Quad, knock him in towards the wall, and still trade another kill for his
They
life.
can't leave. I'm behind them. Play slow, play slow. Yeah, go in there. We killed them all.
He's into it, and we're into another fight. Zven takes Bwipo down straight out of the replay, but now Blaber is also dead. Zven the next to die. FlyQuest hitting back hard as Thanatos is forced back into the waiting arms of the FlyQuest squad. The blast cone takes him low. Ace in the hole, critically blocked there by Loki as Blaber is dead for the next 20 seconds. Zven is dead for the next 20 seconds. Otacon is spawning in 15, and that's where FlyQuest is going.
Exactly. There's so much riding on this because while FlyQuest have over a 2,500 gold lead, Cloud9 have all 3 of the dragons, so you know they are going to force on the next dragon. Here's a look at the origins of that play, and Bwipo got his ultimate off, but Vulcan got his as well. That started it out. They know they could chase afterwards.
Exactly. I mean, they do finish off. Bwipo, Massu's free hitting. We got to go back to live because Vulcan is here. He's spotting this, but Blaber is so far away. It's just gone. There's no chance of a fight. There's all the Caitlyn traps in a line, blocking them out. FlyQuest, they are up 3K nearly, but C9, they're on Soul Point. It's been back-to-back-to-back dragons for Cloud9, and you get Soul. That eliminates the power of that gold lead. So Cloud9 by no means are out of this yet.
Neither team is out of it. FlyQuest here with the Otacon. This is a team that's focused on getting all these kills with the action of this game, the pace of this game. Now, when you get kills with the Otacon buff, you're going to get the extra power of another pedal every time too. So they get value there. And look at Caitlyn. 3 kills for Massu here. Infinity Edge is done. The headshots are going to be painful.
And talking about, you know, the Otacon helps you snowball when you're looking to get these fast, snappy kills. Over on the other side, though, C9 are on Soul Point on a Chemtech Rift. Now, normally, this is one of the souls that gets more overlooked, but it's very effective against resisting burst, against resisting that quick 100 to 0. And if C9 can earn it for themselves, all of a sudden, Elise and Kha'Zix's job became even more difficult than it already was.
It absolutely does, but Inspired now, you know, he passed level 11 a while ago, so he has the Evolve Spike Racks, he has the W Evolve, so he can poke and slow and use that to have some value without actually having to fully commit to that fight. You know, if you get tagged by that, the slow is actually so powerful. The follow-up of things like a Cocoon or a Gragas ultimate are so much easier to hit.
Yeah, exactly. And Viktor lasers, all the poke that FlyQuest have in their toolkit, which is why in Champ Select we're kind of looking at some siege possibilities for them later on. This mid tower is still available, so FlyQuest could try and use that power there. It is usually critical to get that mid tower before a fight for Soul Dragon, because it makes it so difficult to actually get your mid prio and have a good setup to the fight. So Cloud9 defending it, Inspired here, just trying to keep an access route.
Massu 3-0-4 on this Caitlyn. Remember back to some of FlyQuest's greatest moments. When we think back to Worlds last year when they took Gen G to 5 games, Massu performing mechanically was a huge reason why they could do it. We talk about the pressure of finals. We talk about who can rise to the occasion against the nerves and the stakes. And I feel like Massu, this is just another great chance for him to prove that he's that guy.
Zven also just finished the Rage Blade and barely back in time. 15 seconds until Dragon. He is here. They're on their 2-item power spikes. This could be the fight that decides the entire series.
The series, the split, everything could come down to this battle for the Chemtech Drake. C9 grouped up as 4, trying to make their approach. Massu on the Caitlyn. Keep your eyes on where he wants to lay down the traps. Currently blocking off the approach from the Tri-Brush. Thanatos is hanging around nearby. They knock Thanatos over the wall into the pit. They wanted to destroy that blast cone so he doesn't have it as an angle to enter when he wants to. Bwipo currently being zoned away by C9 as Vulcan makes the engage after the Gragas. Bwipo is caught. He's down. The hostile takeover flies out and doesn't get a lot. C9 has lost half HP on their top laner. FlyQuest going to DPS the Drake. Inspired has to jump away, and he claims the Drake with a rocket.
Oh my god, barely in range there. He got the smite off as he jumped away, and the W. I'm not sure if it was the smite or the W that took it. He was barely in range there. Blaber flashed in, tried to push him out. That is heroics from Inspired.
Heroics in a Game 5 of finals here in the LTA North. It was Vulcan who made the pick, though. Vulcan out of the bush on that Renata with the handshake here with his flash, and then FlyQuest are panicking like, oh no, we have to burn it down. He jumps out, he turns around, the fadeaway, and he smites it. 400 HP left, under pressure, Game 5 of finals. That is what matters. It is those critical plays.
That is a big time play here from an MVP and who is looking to become a finals MVP potentially. Has been a long time since we have had an MVP win the finals, win that finals MVP. And Inspired has been playing an incredible year for FlyQuest. Last time it happened, 2015 spring for Bjergsen. Only time we had an MVP also win the finals, then win the finals MVP. And I think Inspired, if they were to win, would definitely be in the running.
The year's got to end with a 5, apparently. We'll see if Inspired can get this one done, because it's still a very close game. FlyQuest may still have their gold lead of 1.7 thousand, but C9 still has Soul Point status. Now, Baron is going to be on the map here in just a few seconds, so now it's that much more intimidating if somebody's caught out of position. If you give away a free kill or have bad positioning, it's very easy for the other side to now put you in a real tough spot.
And Flowers, we talked about the Otacon earlier, but the kills have kept up, and so you see all of these stacks with the pedals. Not only is it burst damage for the champions, but look at these levels.
Baron.
Look at the level differences.
Yeah, they've got a lot of extra adaptive force and EXP. FlyQuest on the approach. C9, they've got the Baron down to 10,000, but that's not low enough, not at all. Fire fires off a couple of rockets. Bwipo into the back line. Zven's only got 200 HP remaining. He tries to pull Vulcan back to help him. Bwipo going to be the target now for C9. They assassinate the big man. But what about the rest of the fight? Health bars on C9 are injured, but FlyQuest are in a 4v5.
Yeah, they're going to be able to turn their sights towards this top tower. Zven pushes the wave. that thing's going to drop. FlyQuest don't really have a response because without the Gragas, they don't have a front line. That play is everything. That is a gambit. They sent it on trying to assassinate that Kalista. All in trying to knock him in. They didn't quite have the burst damage even with the Kha'Zix there. And so Cloud9 were able to get the top tower, were able to survive. FlyQuest still at least finally get the mid one though.
And critically, yes, they got the flash off Zven, but that was the flash from Inspired and Bwipo. So that is 2 for 1 you're trading there and you don't get that kill. And it's going to mean Zven is that much safer in the next fight because now those primary people on FlyQuest side that can threaten them, they don't have their flash. They don't necessarily have the ability to get in on Zven. So we'll see if they can make it happen here. FlyQuest trying their best to find these angles. Definitely feels like a difficult problem to solve because Cloud9 are so powerful in their battle lines with this massive front line of Thanatos with Vulcan behind them protecting the team.
There is one other player who can make a snap flash play on this team for FlyQuest, and it is Busio, this Elise that is so squishy.
Oh. That was close.
Yeah, it's so risky for Inspired to check these brushes. If he gets caught out, if there's CC waiting on him, that Kha'Zix, I mean, look at the inventory. It's all damage. The Tunneler, the only thing with any defensive properties in his inventory.
I mean, you want to talk about an aggressive build. Look at what Bwipo has. He went the Proto Belt, and then he went Horizon Focus here. He's probably going to get like a Ludens or a Death Cap or something next. Like, he is going full squishy Gragas, all burst. This is not like a pseudo-tank style Gragas. There's no Zonias. It is all aggression. Your engages have to be perfect, or you are useless.
Exactly. This team is all damage, and so that's why the flashes are so critical, because you have to make the snap play. You have to get that kill onto the enemy carry.
Something pretty big, though. Edge of Night now finished here for Inspired, so that is going to be helpful to absorb that initial CC that would be coming out. If you can get in there with an ulti and eat that first CC that would hit you, something like a Hwei Fear, it really can change the math in these fights. You know, eat a handshake, eat a hostile takeover. It can be critical as long as it doesn't get poked off.
Okay, back to contesting for the mid lane wave. It is 20 seconds until the Drake spawns again. Inspired barely secured it last time around to guarantee that C9 did not take possession of the Chemtech Soul. But now, C9 is threatening, hey, if you want to go for the Drake, go for it. We'll take the Baron instead. This was not an option on the last Drake spawn, and now C9 is just going to start up the Baron yet again. The DPS isn't particularly fast, but they've got it down to about 10,000 once more. C9,
spotted.
defensive positions. Bwipo right back where he was the previous attempt. Plenty of spears on the Baron right now. They got it down to about 6K. Redemption going to be summoned up. C9 going all in for the Baron right now. Look at him maybe try to secure this one. Quad with a laser over the wall. The Baron is secured by Zven and C9. Blaber is already down, and FlyQuest are looking for another angle. They've got a 5v4, and they want to use it for a punish. Busio flies forward with the empowered blast cone, but he can't catch anybody. C9 will claim the Baron in trade for their jungler.
And might be in trade for that dragon. FlyQuest heading over to it quickly here. That would be Seoul if Cloud9 had some sort of contest, but nobody's going to go over. They are going to say, fine, we will just take this Baron for the 1 kill and the dragon. I was a bit surprised when I saw Quad flash there, though. Quad flashing to chase just for a little bit of laser damage, you could tell they also got super hyped, and they were like, maybe this is the opportunity. We chase them down, we get more kills, having Blaber down. It is not going to be quite that comeback, though. Not to that level.
And now it's really scary because Jarvan has flash, Thanatos has flash. You have no flash as this very vulnerable Viktor over on the other side. No way out of the Cataclysm. That could be devastating if he gets caught. But I agree, you know, they just wanted so much more because Inspired never could actually get to the pit. He had to use his leap to even get to the blast cone to try to get close to it. And then they're saying, okay, well, at least we have a spike rack slow. We could maybe chase and try to get all the kills. But they overforce, and Quad is going to be so vulnerable as a result.
C9 now with the Baron for the next minute and a half. Remember that the default bonus gold of Baron is plus 1,500, 300 for every player, and they're only at plus 200 right now. Thanatos gonna find himself in the middle of a FlyQuest ambush. He wanted to go all out on Massu to try to get some sort of a counterattack angle, but he can't get it. Ace in the hole flies in over the top, but Blaber does a great job protecting Thanatos. Meanwhile, Bwipo thought he had an angle, but he gives it away for free. C9 turn the play around.
You try and pick Cassante K'Zante picks you. They get the kill. He's alive. And now Cloud9 with the Baron buff. They will wipe these towers off the map.
And even with Massu flashing, so he couldn't take him over the wall, he was stuck in the middle of the team. It didn't matter. They didn't have the damage to get him. Blaber did flash in to try to get in range of Massu for a Cataclysm. Couldn't get it. So that is another flash gone for C9. But they are really picking up a lot of gold now. It was 300 was all they got from the Baron. Now it is going to be up to 3K very shortly here. And FlyQuest just trying to wait for Bwipo to respawn. He TP'd in. He got caught out. He's going for a very risky build. Does have the Zhonya's now, though. So he will at least have that in the toolkit.
Here's another look. The triple super blast cone. But it's onto a K'Zante, and you can tell they scramble. Nobody wants to get close to the wall. Massu uses his summoners just to make sure he doesn't get kidnapped over the wall. And even with that, they still can't kill him. Those honey fruit on the ground. The super fruit there do mean he can survive, and the other tail is the other top laner that was coming up through the jungle.
Full AP Gragas, not as squishy, turns out.
He looks big.
Oh, he actually changed it to he changed his Zhonya's to a death cap. So he actually undid that purchase. So he's going full in on it. He is on death cap. He's level 16, has his flash, so there will be an opportunity for a potential 100-0 play. He's saying, you know what? Whether I have Zhonya's or not, it's not going to change anything. I'm going to get one spell rotation out. We're going to win the fight or we're going to lose the fight just like that. He's putting all his eggs in that one basket. And I think it makes sense based on the compositions.
We'll see if Bwipo can hit his target on the big man bazooka, because so far in this game, it's been close, but not close enough when we think back to the attempted play around the Baron the first time around. That play there, not working out the way that he wanted it to, but all it takes is one when you've got that explosive force. 2 minutes until our next Drake is alive, just about the exact same timer on the next Baron.
I would say all it takes is one, as long as that one's not K'Zante. Pick anybody else.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Pick anybody else. They should definitely, look for this full damage, pick and try and win the game that way, but do not full send on Thanatos.
And while it is really risky, think back to last game, to the position it looked like FlyQuest was in. They had that one fight where they turn around the game, they find a pick, they believe in their ability to make these outplays, to make things happen, but it's C9 now with the gold lead, with Soul Point. Both these teams, of course, at match point. We are in game 5. Only one can hoist the LTA North trophy. Only one can go to Vancouver here to play at MSI. And it is going to be all down potentially to one fight.
Inspired level 16, you can see his armor changing from silver to black, means that he has evolved the ultimate for the extra cast in the middle of the fight. Could also be a big difference maker in terms of being able to keep the aggro low enough to survive the initial explosiveness that these fights have shown us so far in this 5th game.
And look at Zven. You want to talk about targets to pick? Well, he has the cleanse, he has the flash, Jack Show completed, plus he has the terminus, so now he's getting pretty tanky. He also, of course, has the guardian, the heal, the bailout, all of the protection that Vulcan is going to afford him. So things are going to be really tough for FlyQuest. It feels like the engage has to be picture perfect, or it's going to fall flat on its face.
All right. 30 seconds on the Drake, 45 on the Baron. C9 still at Soul Point. FlyQuest have got the last 2 Drakes, but considering they had nothing before that, C9 can still afford to give away this next one if they want to trade it for the Baron or something of value elsewhere. Massu escaping from Blaber. The hostile takeover gets 0 value. Now Blaber's knocked back towards the team. A massive catch coming out from Bwipo. Inspired cutting off the escape route. Thanatos wants to go in as Inspired has to disengage. FlyQuest struggling to deal with a K'Zante from the top lane, but they've got the damage. That's 2 kills, 2 big kills for FlyQuest.
Cloud9 chased too far. They wanted to punish Massu while his flash was still down, but they go too far. Now, FlyQuest, what can they do afterwards? Can they chase them through this dragon?
Okay, you got the teleport from Quad back into the fight. He's ready to rejoin the rest of the team. FlyQuest are going straight in for the Drake. Blaber is dead for the next 20 seconds still. Drake will be claimed. No fight for FlyQuest. It's 3-3 on Drakes, and FlyQuest is marching straight over to the Baron.
Thanatos does have teleport, so when he arrives, he will be able to teleport there.
Loki's going to try to delay.
There's a super blast cone.
Okay. FlyQuest going forward towards the Baron.
gone.
15 seconds on Thanatos, but yeah, you've got a 3-item AD carry. You've got a Kha'Zix. You've got a full AP Gragas. It looks like FlyQuest, off the back of Cloud9's overplay, are going to stop the Seoul. They're going to take the Baron. They're going to take the lead yet again.
And then his back-to-back fights, Blaber just barely cannot get in range for ultimate on Massu. Massu was barely out of range when he was going for that big pick onto Thanatos. And then again here, they're going for the engage. Massu just runs it out, stays away, outruns the ultimate from Blaber, and outruns the hostile takeover. Look at that quick thinking, gets out with the E. The 90 caliber net creates that space, dodges out, and then they get the ultimate there from Bwipo, knocks Blaber back in, gets the kill onto him. And yes, Thanatos is tanky, but with Kha'Zix threatening behind, the carries can't support Thanatos at all. So eventually, FlyQuest gets the damage to knock him down. We are now 3 dragons apiece. We are now 500 gold, the only thing separating these two teams in a Game 5 finals. It can't get closer.
They have to remain calm. They have to show poise on this stage when all of the pressure is mounting. The entire split comes down to this.
30 petals for FlyQuest versus the 6 of Cloud9. Inspired just now ticking level 18. Blaber still level 16. Solo laners on both sides also max level, but Massu's about to tick 18 before Zven even hits 16. The level advantages are a very real deal. Here at this stage of the game, 37 minutes in, we've got 3 minutes until the Drake spawns, and critically, gentlemen, it is not synced up with the Baron this time around. There's no way to try to just pull attention to somewhere else on the map. I think this one's going to get bloody.
Look where Blaber is. He is trying to look for a potential flanking angle. The side waves are both pushing in the favor of FlyQuest right now. Inspired is top lane, pushing that in. Mid lane is being escorted in here by Bwipo, and the team is going to move towards top to try to take that last tier 2 outer. And that's worth a lot of gold.
Blaber with his Guardian Angel going to step up there next to Thanatos, but continue his journey towards the top lane as FlyQuest, with their 4-man squad, look to put the pressure onto the tier 2. Inspired just poking them with those rockets, those spike racks, as Massu takes one shot, but it doesn't matter. He'll clear out the tier 2 turret. FlyQuest will claim that one, now turn their attention back elsewhere.
Again, the siege for this comp is so good with all of the range tools that FlyQuest have to them. And Cloud9, it's all about the burst engage. Guardian Angel there for Blaber. They can choose their moment. They can full send with an extra life.
Chaos Storm has already been used by Quad. Tier 2 turret about to die to one more shot from the cannon minion. FlyQuest committing a few resources right there. They know that there's no objective they're going to have to fight for soon. Those cooldowns are going to be back up in time as long as they don't get caught. So they just want to use the momentum, take that extra tier 2, get that extra gold, sweep through the enemy jungle, and take everything they can find.
Exactly. Keep on sieging. Use that Baron power. Use that range. So many resources here gained before the next fight.
I mean, triple tier 2 if they can get it. Looks like they will base before they actually get that bot lane one. But this is a lot of gold injected into them. You can see some critical items being finished. There's a QSS grab for Massu. So now finally he has an answer to the hostile takeover. He can actually position more aggressively, be able to eat that and continue the fight. Death cap done now for Quad. Full Void Staff now completed for Bwipo. Again, just continuing with this full damage build. But on the other side, Cloud9 is looking just as lethal. Death cap's been done for a while for Loki there. And he is so ridiculously strong. One full combo from Loki is death from any of the carries here on FlyQuest side.
Yeah, FlyQuest does not have a Cassante of their own. Nobody on this squad can frontline with Bwipo's very damage-heavy build. So we'll see if the C9 carries can find those big hits. Speaking of big hits, part of Massu being nearly full build now, 100% crit on the Caitlyn. Every shot is a backbreaker at this point. 45 seconds on the Kim Drake on what is guaranteed to be Chemtech Seoul. C9 got the first 3 Drakes of the game. FlyQuest have got the next 3, and it all comes down to lucky number 7. Blaber's going to go ahead and drop a quick smite onto the Scuttle Crab in the top side of the river, but he will have the cooldown back and ready to smite fight for the Drake right after. A standoff in mid lane is going to favor the range of FlyQuest's AD carry as the Cupcakes are in a position to allow the rest of the team to continue stepping forward. Thanatos takes a bit of damage there, losing about 1/3 of his HP to the poke from Massu.
As we crest almost 40 minutes here, Bwipo and Massu both playing Gathering Storm. The only players in the game with that. That is a massive amount of power this late in.
Okay, 10 seconds until they get the next upgrade on that Gathering Storm. The Drake has spawned. The rockets fly over the wall. Explosive cast, just distracting C9, but gets very little value overall here for Bwipo. FlyQuest starting at the objective, laying down the Caitlyn traps, looking to draw their battle lines here as C9 goes for the approach. Vulcan coming around from the side, looking for an angle for the hostile takeover, but he will not find it. Blaber walks in between the traps as Busio already has to cast the repel. Thanatos wants to position himself here on the front line as Bwipo is wrapping around the back, but he still doesn't have the explosive cast ready. Loki nearly killed by Inspired, but close isn't going to be good enough. Hostile takeover doesn't find a lot of anything. Blaber's looking to trap everybody, but he's already going to be knocked down. The Guardian Angel needs to bring him back. Thanatos making so much space. Bwipo has already absorbed the Spiraling Despair, but Inspired is down. Zven trying to get a kill back onto the Gragas as Thanatos will fall to quad. It's 2 down on both sides. Jungler and top as FlyQuest maintain control of the bot side river.
There's no smite on the map, but Cloud9 just can't get in. It will be FlyQuest, Chemtech Soul!
4 in a row for FlyQuest in the Drake pit, but C9 now have to try to escape. FlyQuest are not yet done. Massu has plenty of range, and Quad is still full HP. Loki, Vulcan, and Zven all continuing to try to retreat back to the base. Massu steps up, but Zven is ready to answer. Massu hanging on, but surely doesn't want to go any closer as Loki also barely hobbles away.
FlyQuest want to take the reward and just go back to base. They got the soul. That is 4 Chemtech Dragons in a row for FlyQuest.
Absolutely insane scenes here, man. Just look at the engage they're going for Massu here. They forced out his flash early on. At the same time, Inspired forced the flash on Loki. Both of them go for the pressure. Blaber flashes in, but Massu, 90 caliber net, gets out to safety, has the traps to kill off the jungler as he respawns. Then Zven even, he's flashing aggressively. He's trying to get involved. We're back to live. They're just going to go for the Baron.
C9 starting it up. FlyQuest need to try to get in position to shut this down. Zven is so strong with so much attack speed. He's trying to control the objective. Vulcan nearly is already dead. Inspired looking for more damage, but he won't find the opportunity to re-engage here just yet. Explosive cast knocks everybody on C9 around, but nobody's dead just yet. Hostile takeover flies into a whole lot of nothing as Thanatos is just eating free damage from Massu. Kha'Zix is down. The gates have fallen, and C9 find themselves at the edge as FlyQuest take the Baron.
FlyQuest get the Baron. FlyQuest have 50 seconds on the respawn here from Thanatos. This could be the window that they need to try to end the game. Let's see how aggressive they're going to get with it.
FlyQuest pushing down mid lane as a 4-man squad. We'll see how far they can go. All grouped up as 5 now. They've got the minion wave. They've got the Baron. They've got 30 seconds until the C9 top laner is back on the map. The tier 3 turret will not even attempt to be defended by C9 as they know that is not the place to take a fight. Not 4v5, not in game 5.
They shouldn't get too excited. Remember the words of Nuke Duck, their coach at the end of the previous game. Focus on the win. Do not get too excited. Do not siege for Nexus turrets that just respawn. Go with that Baron, with that Chemtech Soul to siege another lane.
And Massu's sitting on 3k gold. A Seeker's just got bought there by Quad. You can see the full Mercurial Scimitar finished now by Massu. So they had a lot of gold in pocket here. They are getting ridiculously strong. But again, Cloud9 still is going to have an opportunity. Yes, there's a soul on the other side, but if you get that perfect front-to-back fight, you can win a fight. Loki in that last one couldn't hit the Spiraling Despair. The ulti whiff just barely on Massu. That couldn't hit. Thanatos was sectioned off. He got killed off. So there's still an opportunity to win this. Cloud9 just need to lock in and try to really play to their win conditions. Tracking Inspired. Don't allow him to get in the back line and create so much chaos.
There's a soul. There's also 27 flowers of extra adaptive force. There's also the 2 players running Gathering Storm for all the extra adaptive force. There's the entirety of the Rift controlled by FlyQuest. All of the intangibles are in their pockets.
You might love the stats, Flowers, but I love the magic. Let's see if there is any magic left in this finals, because FlyQuest want it to be theirs.
Massu nearly 500 AD, and Bwipo just crested 900 AP on the Gragas.
All right, FlyQuest, they'll continue their push. They have less than 1 minute remaining on the Red Bull Baron. 50 seconds to go. They've already got the inhibitor down in mid lane. Thanatos will try to just absorb the pressure from the super minions over there. FlyQuest, you can see here, look at how close the traps are placed together by Massu. They are in that corridor, wanting to guarantee nobody from C9 can use the path.
Bwipo just rocket belted the Banshees off of Loki as well, so now he's missing that tool.
Okay, Zven down to half HP from the poke. The explosive cask nearly kills him off. It makes enough space for the tier 3 turret to be bulldozed here in the bottom lane. The inhibitor falls, 15 seconds left in the Baron. FlyQuest continues going forward. Zven still had to heal back in the fountain. FlyQuest ready to crash 2 waves of minions into the Nexus turrets. But again, being careful, being mindful, not to overextend. The pressure continues as the Baron Enchanted Siege minions continue living up to their name. The Nexus turret's down to about half HP. Inspired loses his Edge of Night Shield. FlyQuest going to continue their push. Massu with a couple of shots onto the Nexus turret number 1. Should be able to take it down. Can't quite finish the job. Blaber wanted to go in and threaten him. The Hwei will not lock up the enemy carry, and Massu continues spacing beautifully. Thanatos, half HP missing at this stage in the fight, and FlyQuest are waiting again on more minions. Explosive Cask is going to find the angle they want. Blaber tries to go in. He's caught up and shot down. Guardian Angel should not be enough. Hostile takeover is Massu. He's trying to get away from it, but Zven with a massive shutdown. C9 hold the line.
And there's an Elder Dragon in 45 seconds, so we still have game to play here. That is just 2 inhibs down. They're going to teleport to look for more kills.
They're going to chase. Can they actually get them? I think the gravity field will buy enough time. They should be able to walk this one out, but this is insane. Loki is looking for Bwipo as well. They're trying to not let them get out of here. That was the last possible moment they had to engage. The Nexus towers were dying, and they find the window to get Massu.
If they could have gotten a chase here, a chase kill, the death timer would sync up really nicely, but still, the Elder Dragon is going to spawn. They've got 1 tower left at their Nexus. Teleport comes out here for Bwipo. Bwipo has burst damage.
He's pinging on it.
He is going. They are double teleporting. Teleport for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest is trying to get
C9 has no GP.
Victory.
They have no answer.
C9 has no way.
They don't see him.
Know what's
They don't see that.
C9 doesn't know what's happening.
They're gonna get in.
FlyQuest has made their way into the base. Bwipo and Quad, the 2 massive AP threats. Busio's just going in to waste their time. The back door should work. The shutdown on Busio doesn't matter. FlyQuest were first all season long, and from the upper bracket, they will earn themselves their victory in Split 2 and their place at MSI.